there friends, it's Ashley here from the Loopy Lamb and theloopylamb.com, and thanks so much for stopping by the channel. In today's tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to do the Royal Ridge crochet stitch. This is a simple stitch. It has a 1-row repeat, and as you can see on our fabric here, it creates this ridge across our piece, which is where the name comes from, Royal Ridge. Now, this is a stitch that's accessible for beginners, and it creates a double-sided fabric here. So both sides are the same. To follow along with today's tutorial, you're going to need the following materials. You're going to need your yarn in whatever weight that you choose. I'm using a bulky size 5 weight yarn here called Bernat Maker from Yarn Inspirations, and a hook size that works with the yarn that you've selected. I'm using a 6mm or J crochet hook here from Furls Crochet. Now, to do the Royal Ridge stitch, you're going to need to do a chain of any number of stitches. There's no specific multiple. So if you need 50 stitches, you're going to do 50 chains. Then you're going to add 1 chain for the turning chain. So 51 chains for 50 stitches. So I'm just going to do a quick chain of 10 here. And with my chain of 10, I will have 9 stitches. And now we're going to start working in the second chain from the hook. We never work into that first chain here. So we're going to yarn over and insert our hook into the second chain from the hook here. Yarn over and pull up a loop. You should have 3 loops on your hook. Then you're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 of those loops to do your first half double crochet stitch. And then we're going to do 1 half double crochet into each remaining chain across. So we'll do a half double crochet one more time together. Yarn over, insert into the very next chain, yarn over and pull up a loop. You should have 3 loops on your hook, then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. And that's your second half double crochet. And now if you'd like to pause your video, work 1 half double crochet into each chain across, and I'll meet you at the end of the row. All right, so we're at the end of the row. We've got 1 half double crochet worked in each chain across. Then we're going to yarn over and chain up 1 and turn our work. And then we're going to work 1 half double crochet into the first stitch and each stitch across. And so when we're working into row 2, we always work under both loops of our stitch there as we normally would, and then we half double crochet. All right, so we're going to work 1 half double crochet into each stitch across, and I'll meet you back here at the end of the row, and this in row 3 is where we're going to start seeing our Royal Ridge stitch come to life. All right, so we're at the end of row 2. We're ready to go into row 3, so we're going to yarn over and chain up 1 and turn our work. So when we're taking a look at our half double crochet stitches, if you're not familiar with how the stitches work, it almost looks like this is the top of our stitch. We've got a loop here, we've got a loop here. But if you actually turn your work up, you can see that these 2 loops don't actually make up the stitch. These 2 do. So what we're going to do to create our Royal Ridge stitch is we're going to utilize this extra loop that's right here on the bottom here. And this is called the 3rd loop. Now we're going to yarn over and insert a hook up and under that 3rd loop. We're only working under the 3rd loop. Then we're going to yarn over and pull up our loop, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on our hook to half double crochet. And then we're going to half double crochet into each of those 3rd loops across. So we're going to yarn over and insert up and under that 3rd loop only, and finish our half double crochet. And now let's take a look at what's happening here, because I find that this really helps hit the point home. When you're working into that 3rd loop, what it's doing is it's pushing those top 2 loops of the stitch forward, and that's what creates our ridge. So we're going to continue working into that 3rd loop of our half double crochet on the front of our work here across our piece. So if you'd like to pause your video, meet you here at the end of the row, and I want to talk to you about something quick before we move into row 4. So I'm at the end of row 3 for our Royal Ridge stitch here, and I want to just bring attention to the very last stitch of each row. It could be handy for you to keep a stitch marker and place it in either the third loop or in the tops of the stitch for the last stitch of each row, because when you're doing this stitch, this last half double crochet does want to tend to pull downwards, and it can be easy to miss. So if you are finding that you're losing stitches, it's often due to this effect that we get here in the side of the fabric. So a stitch marker placed into that stitch can help keep track of that for you and help keep you from losing that stitch. So I'm going to work my last stitch here, and we're going to go into row 4 of the ridge stitch. So we're going to yarn over and chain up 1. And turn our work. And this is what our work should look like at this point. Now, our 1 row repeat is a repeat of row 3. So we're just going to yarn over and work into that third loop of the first half double crochet and into each half double crochet across our piece. And again, by working into this third loop into each row, it pushes the tops of those stitches down into the front of the fabric to create that ridge and creates a double-sided fabric when we're working in turned rows. So I want to show you what this looks like at the end of row 4. At the end of row 4, we have 1 ridge on the wrong side of our fabric, and we flip it over and we have 1 ridge on the right side of our fabric. All right, and the more rows we have, the more rows we will, or ridges that we will have on either side of our fabric. Right, and because it's double-sided, you can determine which side looks better to you and use that as the right side of your fabric. While officially this is technically the right side of the fabric, I'm right-handed, so the tail on my left-hand side makes this the right side of the fabric. However, if you prefer the other side, feel free to have that as the right side of your fabric if you're creating something on your own. So that's it. That's how you do the Royal Ridge stitch. If you have any questions, I'd love to help you in any way that I can. Leave them in the comment section below. And if you have any experience using this stitch, I'd love to hear what you use this stitch for. Leave that as well in the comments below. If you like free crochet patterns and other stitch tutorials, please head on over to the blog, theloopylamb.com, where I've got over 200 free crochet patterns and many, many stitch tutorials, which all include video tutorials just like this one. Thank you so much for watching, friends. Happy hooking, and I'll see you next time.